I believe there is a power in the words you speak over yourself. Your words can set the tone for your day, shape your attitude, and determine your destiny. Many people are careful with what they say to others, but careless with what they say to themselves.
They rehearse their weaknesses, repeat their mistakes, and magnify their limitations. But if you want to see a change, if you want to shift your life's direction, you have to change the conversation you're having with yourself.
For the next 72 hours, make a decision. I will speak life, faith, and victory over myself. It's not magic. The more you hear it, the more you believe it. The more you believe it, the more you live it. Most people spend their words describing exactly what they see. They talk about how bad things are, how tired they feel, how far they still have to go. It's easy to let your speech become a reflection of your current circumstances, but if you want to change the picture of your life, you can't keep speaking the same things you're seeing right now. You have to learn to speak the end result, not the current situation. Your words should not just echo your environment, they should create your future. When David stood before Goliath, he didn't rehearse the giant's size. He didn't say, "He's too big, I'll never win." David declared the outcome before the battle even started. Today the Lord will deliver you into my hand. That's the principle. He spoke the end result. He was already calling himself victorious before a stone ever left his sling. If David had talked about the giant's strength, his own inexperience, or the danger ahead, he would have fed fear instead of faith. But by speaking the end result, he gave life to his victory before he even saw it. For the next 72 hours, every time you open your mouth about your situation, ask yourself, am I speaking what I see? Or am I speaking what I want to see? If you're constantly talking about the problem, you're watering the wrong seed. When you keep saying, "Well, I'm always struggling," you're giving energy to the struggle. But when you say, "I'm coming out of this better than I went in," your words with the solution. Think of your words like a GPS. When you get in your car and type in a destination, you don't type where you already are. You type where you want to go. The GPS doesn't care if you're in heavy traffic, if there's construction ahead, or if you've taken some wrong turns. It just keeps guiding you toward the destination you entered. Your words work the same way. If you keep inputting a defeat, a lack, and a failure into your personal GPS, don't be surprised when you keep arriving at those destinations. But if you start speaking a breakthrough, your life will begin to move in that direction. Now, this doesn't mean you deny reality. It means you choose not to be dominated by it. The doctor may have given you a negative report. That's a fact. But facts are not the final word. Truth is. And the truth says you can be healed, restored, and made whole. You may be in debt. That's a fact. But truth says you can be the lender and not the borrower. You're not pretending the problem doesn't exist. You're declaring a greater reality that's already in motion. When you speak the end result, you're also building your faith. Your ears are the closest to your mouth. The most influential voice in your life is your own. What you keep hearing yourself say will eventually get into your spirit. If you say long enough, "I'm not smart enough," you'll believe it and live it out. But if you keep saying, "I am well able, I have the mind of Christ, I have wisdom for every decision," you'll begin to believe that too, and that belief will show up in your actions. It's like planting a seed. If you plant an apple seed and keep saying, "It's not growing, nothing's happening," you'll be tempted to dig it up before it has time to develop. But if you keep watering it, protecting it, and speaking life over it, you'll eventually see the fruit. Speaking the end result is watering the seed of your destiny. It's saying, even though I don't see it yet, it's on the way. My harvest is coming.
My promise is on schedule.
Here's the key. Your words have creative power. They can call things that are not as though they were. They can shape the atmosphere of your home, your workplace, and your relationship. That's why it's dangerous to speak defeat over yourself. You may think you're just venting, but you're actually programming your future. So for the next 72 hours, discipline yourself to only speak the end result.
If you're believing for a promotion, don't keep talking about how unfair your boss is. Start declaring, the right doors are opening for me. Favor surrounds me like a shield.
If you're praying for your marriage to improve, don't keep saying, we'll never get along. Start declaring, our love is growing stronger, our communication is improving, our home is filled with peace.
And remember, you can't always control what others say about you, but you have complete control over what you say to yourself. Don't let your own words work against you. Decide that your mouth will be in agreement with your destiny, not your difficulty. It might feel strange at first. It might feel like you're lying to yourself. But you're not lying. You're prophesying. You're speaking into existence what God has already prepared for you. And if you can keep your words aligned with your faith for just 72 hours, you'll begin to notice a shift. Your mindset will change. Your attitude will lift. And eventually, your reality will start to look like the result you've been declaring. Negative thoughts are going to knock on the door of your mind every single day. You can't stop them from showing up, but you can decide whether they're allowed to come in and take a seat. Too many people let those thoughts move in like unwanted house guests. They let them unpack, rearrange the furniture, and dictate the atmosphere of the home. But the moment you recognize negative self-talk, you need to cancel it immediately, before it has a chance to take root. Negative self-talk is subtle. It can sound like, I'm not good enough, I always mess things up, good ever happens for me. It disguises itself as truth, because it often matches your feelings in the moment. But feelings are not facts, and they certainly aren't destiny. You have to treat every destructive word like a thief, because that's exactly what it is. Negative self-talk will rob you of your confidence, your courage, and your calling if you let it. Here's what makes it dangerous. The most influential voice in your life is your own. If someone else speaks something negative over you, you can brush it off. But when you say it about yourself, your spirit listens. Your words become your belief system, and your belief system becomes your reality. If you constantly tell yourself you're not attractive, not smart enough, not capable, you're building a mental prison brick by brick, and you're locking yourself inside. That's why you can't afford to entertain these thoughts for even a minute. The longer you let them play in your mind, the stronger they become. Think of it like a spark. If you catch it early, you can put it out with a glass of water. But if you let it burn for a while, it turns into a wildfire that's much harder to control. The moment you recognize a negative thought, stop it in its tracks. Don't reason with it. Don't argue with it. Replace it with the truth right away. For example, I'm not good enough for this opportunity. Don't let it linger. Say out loud, fully equipped. I have everything I need, and doors of favor are opening for me. If you think, I'll never get out of this situation, declare instead, God is making a way for me right now. My breakthrough is already in motion. The key is speed. Don't wait until the thought has repeated 10 times before you correct it. Cancel it immediately. This is more than just positive thinking. This is spiritual warfare over your own mind. Every negative word you accept is like signing a contract with the enemy to limit your future. But every positive, faith-filled word you speak is like signing an agreement with your destiny. It's choosing to partner with hope instead of despair.
Think of it this way. If you wouldn't let a stranger walk into your living room and insult you for hours, why would you allow your own thoughts to do it? You have to set boundaries with your inner voice. For the next 72 hours, become your own thought security guard. Stand at the door of your mind and check every word that tries to enter. If it doesn't line up with your purpose, your faith, or your future, it doesn't get in. Here's a practical step. Create a list of replacement declarations for the most common negative thoughts you face. If you often think, "I'm so tired," replace it with, "full of energy and strength." If you think, "I'm always broke," replace it with, "I have more than enough for every good thing." If you think, "No one likes me," replace it with, "I am loved, valued, and surrounded by the right people." Keep these ready, so that when a negative thought shows up, you can respond instantly instead of hesitating. Understand, this negative self-talk doesn't just affect how you feel, it affects what you attract. If you keep saying, "I never get any opportunities," your mind will subconsciously overlook them even when they're right in front of you. But if you say, "Opportunities are coming to me every day," your mind will be alert, spot them, and take action. Your words filter your reality. Change your words, and you change what you notice and experience. Another important thing, don't just cancel negative self-talk. Replace it with something stronger. Nature hates a vacuum. If you take out the wrong words but don't fill the space with the right ones, those same destructive words will try to creep back in. Every time you cancel a lie, plant the truth. Every time you silence fear, speak faith. Every time you shut down self-doubt, declare self-worth. You may be wondering, will this really make a difference in just 72 hours? Absolutely. Even a short period of intentional speech can break cycles that have been running for years. Why? Because your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on repetition. The more often you replace a negative thought with a positive one, the stronger that new thought path becomes. Soon, what once felt unnatural will start to feel normal. Imagine going 3 days without allowing one destructive statement about yourself to stand. Imagine the momentum that would build if, instead of tearing yourself down, you spent every hour reinforcing your worth, your abilities, and your future. That's not wishful thinking. That's transformation in progress. For the next 72 hours, be ruthless with your inner dialogue. Cancel every lie, every insult, every limitation the moment it shows up. Replace it with truth, faith, and victory. Your life will start moving in the direction of your new conversation. And when you see the difference in just 3 days, you'll realize this isn't just a temporary challenge, it's a lifestyle worth keeping. When most people talk about their goals, their dreams, or their breakthroughs, they speak in the future tense. They say, "One day I'll be confident."
Someday I'll have that business. Eventually I'll get out of debt. But here's the thing, faith doesn't talk like that. Real faith speaks in the present tense. It says, "I'm confident now. My business is blessed now. I am free now." Why? Because faith sees the promise as already done.
Faith doesn't wait for the evidence to show up before it speaks. It declares the result before there's any physical sign of it. It's not pretending, it's positioning. When you speak in present tense faith, you are aligning your words with what God has already established for you in the unseen realm. Think about it. When you order something online, you don't keep saying, "One day I'll own it." You say, "I have it," even before it arrives at your door. You've already paid for it. It's already yours, just in the process of delivery. That's how God's promises work. Once He has spoken it over your life, it's already paid for by His word. You may not see it in your hands yet, but it's on the way. Speaking in present tense, faith is like saying, Waiting, man. I'm just waiting for the delivery. Here's the challenge. Your circumstances will try to convince you to keep your words in the future. You'll look at your bank account and think, I can't say I'm financially blessed. Look at these numbers. You'll see a doctor's report and think, I can't say I'm healed when I still have symptoms. But that's when you need to remember, faith is not based on what you see, it's based on what you believe. Abraham was called the father of faith because he had called things that are not as though they were. He didn't say, one day I'll be the father of many nations. He said, I am the father of many nations, even when he had no children. He aligned his words with the promise, not the problem. And because he did, he received the manifestation of what he declared. For the next 72 hours, I want you to make a shift. Stop pushing your breakthrough into the future with your words. Stop saying, one day I'll get there. Start saying, I am already there in the Spirit. I have what I've been believing for. I am walking in it now. Your mind may resist at first, but that's okay. Your mind will catch up to your faith if you keep speaking it. There's a reason present tense faith is so powerful. It tells your brain to start acting as if the promise is already true. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between reality and a vivid, repeated declaration. You keep saying, I am confident, I am strong, I am favored. Your brain will begin to produce behaviors and decisions that align with that reality. Before you know it, what was once a declaration becomes your actual experience. The opposite is also true. If you keep saying, I will be happy when I get the job, or I'll be at peace once the problem is solved, you're telling your brain that happiness and peace are somewhere far away, and it will keep delaying them. You'll always feel like they're out of reach. But when you say, I have joy now, I have peace now, I am living in abundance now, you bring that reality into your present moment. Now, does speaking in present tense mean you'll never face challenges? No. It means you refuse to let challenges define your language. You might be in a difficult season, but you still declare, I am blessed. You might be fighting a sickness, but you still declare, I am healed. You might be under pressure, but you still declare, I am victorious. Here's another important point. You're not just doing this for your own benefit. You're also setting the tone for the atmosphere around you. When people hear you speak in faith, it builds their faith too. It reminds them that life isn't just about what we see, it's about what we believe and declare. Your words can inspire others to shift their language from a someday to today. Some people might misunderstand this. They might think you're just trying to fake it. But faith isn't a fake. You're not lying when you declare something God has promised you. You're simply agreeing with Him before the manifestation shows up. And let me tell you, God's promises are more real than your current situation. For the next 72 hours, be intentional. Every time you start to say, I will have, stop yourself and say, I have. Every time you start to say, one day, change it to, I am. Write your declarations in the present tense. I am healthy. I am surrounded by divine favor. I am financially free. I am walking in purpose. Read them aloud morning, afternoon, and night. Let your ears hear your mouth speak the truth until it sinks deep into your spirit. If you will commit to speaking in present tense, faith for just 72 hours, something powerful will happen. Your faith will grow. Your attitude will shift, and your actions will begin to match the reality you've been declaring. Before long, the gap between what you've been saying will close, and you'll realize the power of speaking as if it's already done. Feelings are like the weather. They change constantly. One day it's sunny, the next day it's cloudy. One morning you wake up motivated and ready to conquer the world. The next morning you feel tired, discouraged, or unsure of yourself. If you build your identity on your feelings, you'll live on a roller coaster, up one day, down the next. But if you want stability, you have to root your life in something unshakable. That means reminding yourself daily of who you are, not what you feel. Feelings are temporary. Identity is permanent. You might feel overwhelmed right now, but that doesn't change the fact that you are strong and capable. You might feel lonely, but that doesn't erase the truth that you are deeply loved. You might feel like a failure, but that doesn't cancel the reality that you are chosen, equipped, and destined for purpose. This is where many people get stuck. Believe that because they feel something, it must be true. But feelings are not facts. Feelings are indicators, not dictators. They may tell you what's going on in the moment, but they don't have the authority to tell you who you are. You have to separate your identity from your emotions. Think about a ship at sea. The waves can crash against it. The wind can push it in different directions. But as long as the anchor is down, the ship stays secure. Your identity is that anchor. When life's storms push against you, your anchor is what keeps you from drifting into hopelessness. That anchor is built on the truth of who you are, your worth, your value, and your God-given purpose. The problem is, in moments of struggle, your feelings get loud. They shout things like, "Well, not good enough, you'll never succeed." Ooh. If you're not careful, you'll start echoing those lies in your own voice. That's why for the next 72 hours, I want you to make this your discipline. When your feelings start speaking, answer back with the truth of who you are. If you feel weak, say, "I am strong and full of power." If you feel unloved, say, "I am deeply loved and valued." If you feel like you don't belong, say, "I am chosen and I have a place." You may have to repeat it over and over before your feelings quiet down, but that's okay. Every time you declare your identity, you're reminding your mind that your foundation is unshakable. Here's something important. You don't wait until you feel like you speak your identity. Especially when you don't feel it. Why? Because that's when you need it most. If you only affirm yourself when you're already feeling confident, you're just reinforcing what's already there. But when you declare, "I'm victorious," while you're in the middle of a setback, that's when you're planting seeds that will carry you forward. There's a story about an eagle who was raised among chickens. Because it grew up in the barnyard, it scratched the ground for food, never realizing it could fly. One day, another eagle saw it and asked, "Why are you living like this? You're not a chicken, you're an eagle. Spread your wings and soar." That eagle had the ability to fly all along, but because it identified as a chicken, it lived far below its potential. Many people do the same thing. They identify with their lowest moments, their worst mistakes, or their current feelings instead of their true nature. Your identity is not defined by your mistakes. It's not determined by your circumstances, and it's not shaped by other people's opinions. Your identity was established the moment you were created, fearfully, wonderfully, and intentionally. No failure, no disappointment, and no setback can erase that. The challenge for the next 72 hours is this. Don't let your feelings write your script. When you wake up and feel tired, you can still say, "Today is filled with opportunity, and I have the strength to take it on." When you face rejection, you can still say, "I am valuable and worthy of love." When you feel overlooked, you can still say, "I am chosen, I am favored, and the right doors are opening for me." Over time, this practice will shift the balance of power in your life. Instead of your feelings controlling your words will start influencing your feelings. You'll notice that discouragement doesn't last as long. Fear doesn't hold you as tightly. and doubt doesn't have as much influence. Here's why. Words are like thermostats, and feelings are like the temperature. If you keep declaring the truth about who you are, you'll gradually change the emotional climate of your life. Your identity statements set the temperature higher, and your feelings eventually rise to match. I'm not saying you'll never have bad days again. You will. But the difference is, bad days won't define you. Challenges won't change your name, and emotions won't have the power to rewrite your worth. For the next 72 hours, keep your anchor down. Let your identity be the voice that leads you, not your feelings. Remind yourself daily, I am not what I feel. I am who I am. The storms may come, the waves may crash, but you'll remain steady because you're grounded in something that never changes. It's one thing to speak positive declarations. It's another to make them personal. General encouragement is good, but it doesn't carry the same impact as when you speak directly to yourself. You can say, God is good. When you say, God is good to me, it hits different. It becomes intimate, specific, and powerful. Many people keep their declarations vague. They say, good things are coming. That's fine, but it leaves the statement floating somewhere out there in the distance. When you say, good things are coming to me and my family, you bring that truth into your personal world. You pull it closer, you own it. The truth is, we all tend to believe our own name more than we believe anything else. Think about it. If you're in a crowded room and someone calls out your name, you turn your head instantly. Why? Because your name is the most personal sound in the world to you. When you connect your declarations to yourself by name, you increase their power because they feel tailored. For example, instead of saying, doors are opening, say, or doors are opening for me, insert your name. Instead of saying, a favor is coming, say, a favor is surrounding me, your name. You're taking a universal truth and customizing it so it feels undeniable. When you personalize your words, you also make it harder for your mind to reject them. Sometimes when you speak general truths, your mind tries to argue. Oh, well, that's true for some people, but not for you. But when you say, this is for me, you silence that doubt. You refuse to exclude yourself from the blessing. Here's another benefit. Personalizing your words creates emotional connection. Words that feel personal sink deeper into your heart. They stick longer. They carry more weight. That's why for the next 72 hours, I want you to make this a habit. Every declaration you speak should have your name in it, or a direct reference to your life. It might feel awkward at first. You might think, oh, why do I need to say my own name? I already know I'm talking about me. But there's a psychological and spiritual power in calling yourself out loud. It's the same reason coaches call players by name. When giving instructions, it draws attention, focus, and ownership. Here's a practical example of how to shift your language. General, I am strong. Personal, I, Sarah, am strong and full of energy today. General, good things are happening. Personal, good things are happening for me and my family right now. General, I will succeed. Personal, I, John, am walking in success and open doors right now. Notice how each personal version feels more directed, more targeted. You're not just speaking into the air. You're speaking directly to your spirit. This approach also builds a stronger connection between your words and your reality. When you keep saying, I am blessed, in a personal, specific way, your brain begins to identify blessings in your everyday life. You start noticing opportunities you would have otherwise overlooked. You feel more grateful because you've been telling yourself to expect good things. Now, here's where it gets even more powerful. Personalizing your words doesn't have to stop with your name. You can also add details from your own life. If you're believing for a job, don't just say, "I have favor," and my interviews this week. I, Daniel, will stand out for the right reasons. If you're working on your health, don't just say, "I, Rachel, am strong, fit, and full of life every single day." The more personal and specific you make it, the harder it is for your mind to brush it off as just words. It becomes a direct instruction to your life. It's like programming a GPS with an exact street address instead of just saying, "somewhere nice." The more details you include, the more accurate your destination becomes. For the next 72, write down 10 personal declarations. Put your name in them. Add your current goals. Mention your family if you want. Make them so personal that no one else could say them and have them apply exactly the same way. Then read them aloud morning, noon, and night. Look in the mirror when you say them. Speak them with conviction, even if you don't fully feel them yet. Here's what will happen. You'll start to believe your own voice more than the voices of doubt. You'll train yourself to expect good things personally, not just in a vague, somewhere out there sense. And when the blessing shows up, you'll be surprised. You'll simply recognize it as the fulfillment of what you've been declaring. Remember this, life responds to the words you personalize. The more you own your declarations, the more your circumstances begin to align with them. You're not just speaking hope, you're speaking identity. You're stamping your name on the promise. You're claiming ownership of your future. So for the next 72 hours, don't just speak your words. Put your name on every blessing. Attach yourself to every promise. Let your mouth and your heart agree that the goodness you're declaring isn't just possible, it's personal. For the next 72 hours, make a conscious decision to guard the climate of your mind. Just as a greenhouse maintains the perfect environment for plants to thrive, you must maintain the perfect environment for your faith, peace, and joy to grow. If you allow negativity, doubt, or fear to creep in, it's like opening the door of that greenhouse during a freezing storm. Your growth will suffer. Every day, we are bombarded with voices of fear, voices of limitation. Some come from outside sources, people, social media, news, while others come from within. Friend, if you will truly commit to this for the next 3 days, you will see the difference. Your mind will feel lighter, your heart will feel stronger, and your perspective will begin to shift. The challenges may still be there, but they will no longer have the same power over you. You'll wake up with expectation instead of dread, confidence instead of anxiety. This isn't just about 72 hours. It's about proving to yourself that you are not at the mercy of circumstances. You're in control of what you say to yourself. And what you say to yourself shapes your life. If you can direct your words for 3 days, you can direct them for 30 days. If you can do it for 30, you can do it for the rest of your life. So start now. Tell yourself, I am strong. I am blessed. I am favored. My best days are still in front of me. Speak it when you wake up, when you're driving, when you're in the middle of a challenge. Keep your words aligned with your faith and watch as your life begins to rise to the level of your confession. The next 72 hours could be the turning point. Speak to yourself like someone who knows they're destined for more. Because you are. And when you do, you won't just change your words, you'll change your world.